Cool.
Okay, so this is the male reproductive chart, and this is the primary organ, which is the testes, or the testicle. This is where the seminiferous tubules are, and that's where sperm is actually produced. And then it goes through a bunch of other tubes. Eventually it gets into this structure, which is a bunch of tubes called the epididymis, because it sits on top of the testicle. And this is where the sperm are matured and stored. Once it goes through there, then this tube, starting at the base here, all the way up and over the top of the bladder and around the back, all of that is called the Ductus Vas Deferens. And this is what they cut, usually way down here in the scrotum. This is what they cut when a guy gets a vasectomy. So what else do we need? They talk about the ampulla of the Ductus Vas Deferens, and I don't really care. It just means ampulla is an open area, a little wider than normal. It's going to meet up with this gland. Now this is the seminal vesicle, and it's going to put stuff into with the sperm to make it more mobile, to like fructose and PSA and some of those substances. And so this little area here, right when these two come together, this region is called the ejaculatory duct. And this gland is the prostate. So it goes through the prostate a little bit, and it eventually joins up with the urethra coming from the bladder up here. This is the urethra, and at this point, the semen is going to go into the urethra. So the prostate also adds stuff, and the stuff that it adds is, actually, this is what adds, gosh, what does it do? It makes it a little more acid, and it adds PSA, not the seminal vesicle. And then that continues on through the membranous urethra, and it gets substance from this gland here called the bulbourethral gland, or the Cowper's gland, and this is going to add lubricant. And so once it gets to here, then the semen has everything. And semen is just sperm plus the different fluids that all three of these glands add in. And then it continues through the urethra, because the urethra is now going to go through the spongy urethra and through the entire length of the penis. Okay, so this area of the penis down here is called the Glans Penis, and that's the equivalent of the head of the penis, but that's more the layman's term. This section of the penis that's the slightly darker blue is the Corpora Spongiosum, and this area on the side, there's only one of those because there's only one urethra. This other area, there's two of them, but you can't see it because there's one on each side, and this is called the Corpora Cavernosa. There's blood vessels, arteries, that run right through the center of that. So when those arteries fill with blood, this whole area, which is cavernous, big and wide, kind of fills with blood, and that's what causes the erection. Now the skin continues down around the penis all the way past the tip, and this area where it continues across the glans penis is called the foreskin, or the prepuce. If they cut that off surgically, that's called a circumcision. It's a very common procedure for little boys. Let's see, what else do we need to see? Here's the bladder. Now, unlike the female, we don't have the uterus here on top, but we do have the Ductus Vas Deferens kind of running around the top of the bladder. Behind the bladder, we have the colon, the large intestine, or the rectum. And so the male has the rectal opening, the anus, and then it also has the opening here for the urethra, for the urinary system, and also for the reproductive system. So only two holes, and they're very far apart. So less chance of contamination, less urinary tract infections. Okay, here's the sperm. This is the male gamete, and it's really got three different regions. This is the head of the sperm, and it's got the DNA, the nucleus, and it's also got a little cap on it called the acrosome. And there's digestive enzymes in here that are going to help to break down the outer walls of the egg. This mid piece is got all kinds of mitochondria in it because it's got to make a lot of energy so that this sperm can swim for days. And then this long yellow part is the tail of the sperm. It's the flagella, and it's basically like scuba flipper. So somewhat stiff, and it kind of twists and propels the sperm along. I think that's about it. We do have some ligaments. This is the round ligament here. And that's about all I can see. Yep.